teenagers handcuffed while walking. Wait, while black. Here it is.
Black hoodie, black pants, black shorts. Come here. Just stand by the van right there. I just want to talk to y'all. That's it.
We're not trying to talk to y'all, bro.
Okay, well, I'm trying to talk to you.
No, bro.
I'm giving you a lawful order to stop.
That's no lawful order.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Come on.
Go ahead, call him on.
Bro.
Don't.
You're not gonna touch me. You're on me for no reason. Call my mom, bro. Call my mom, bro.
I'm telling you
for no reason, bro.
I'm telling you
He on me for no reason. He on me for no reason, bro. We trying to go to our friend's house. We trying to go to our friend's house. He on me for no reason. He on me for no reason.
6-1 taser. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
On the ground.
I'm gonna tase you. Get on the ground. Put the phone down.
What's up, bro?
Lay down. On your stomach.
What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
Good.
What's up, bro? It's okay. It's all right, bro. It's good. It's good,
Put the
bro.
stand behind your back.
It's good, bro.
Here we go again. Put up the picture full mask. I'm going to give you the background to this Fort Bend County Sheriff's deputy. His name is Mason Koehler. Officer Koehler approached two black teenagers walking on the public sidewalk through a residential neighborhood. Nothing illegal about that. He orders them to stop because he wanted to, quote, talk with them, claiming he was giving them a lawful order to stop. But see, that's not how it works. The young men knew their rights and continued to walk away from Officer Koehler, telling him, that's no lawful order, end quote. The officer then walked up to them, grabbing the 17-year-old male by the arm and then dragging him to the ground, where he sat on top of him and handcuffed him with two other cops. Quote, I'm just trying to talk to you, Koehler said as he was manhandling the teen. If you would have listened to me, but Koehler never articulated whether he had a reasonable suspicion of probable cause to engage. Before I continue that part is not a part of importance. It is the part of importance. Why? Because he could not articulate the suspicion. He could not thus give a lawful anything. He has no right of interaction. The individual, meaning the teenager, retains all constitutional rights to simply not engage in law enforcement. Am I free to go? As some would put it. The probable cause, the suspicion never articulated by the officer. Nothing. The teens had committed no crime to justify the violent detainment, despite how common it is detaining people for walking while black. It is actually not lawful. Quote, when a law enforcement officer gives you an order to do something, you have to do that, Koehler told the teen after he handcuffed and placed the teenager in the back of a patrol car. Ladies and gentlemen, that is false. That is false. Cops are not allowed to simply walk up and bark orders and expect instant compliance. It does not work that way. There has to be a legal basis for the order, despite Officer Koehler's belief that citizens must comply with an order or else face abuse and arrest. Officer Koehler also claimed in the video the teens were running away from him. When the video shows they were walking away from him, he also claimed the teen he detained was, quote, fighting him when he was actually resisting an unlawful arrest without physical violence. And Koehler also accused the teens of, quote, reaching, which is a common law enforcement excuse to justify abuse, even killing a citizen over an imaginary gun. However, the video does not appear to show the teens doing any of that, reaching anything. Why is Officer Koehler emphasizing falsities if the interaction is legitimate? The very reason the officer is embellishing the story, lying on the narrative, providing a false report, is because he knows what he actually did does not hold legal muster. So the Texas law firm, the Greening Law Group, they've gotten involved, describes it, considered reasonable suspicion under state law. They describe it as, quote, in order for a police officer to pull you over in Texas or even detain you in Texas, there must be a reasonable amount of suspicion to do so. Although law enforcement officials need to have reasonable suspicion to stop or detain, they are not allowed to arrest you on reasonable suspicion alone. However, reasonable suspicion alone is not enough to arrest you for potentially driving under the influence. To facilitate an arrest, he must have what is known as probable cause. There was no probable cause for the arrest. There was no reasonable suspicion articulated for the interaction. The rights were maintained by the teenagers. The video shows Koehler's plan was to detain them, then compare them to video footage they had of actual suspects they were looking for, which is not how law enforcement works. Quote, so right now, we're just going to review something real quick on our video footage. And if we determine that you guys aren't involved, guess what? You're free to go, Koehler says. Another deputy then tells Koehler that the actual suspect was described as having colored dreads, which was when Koehler walked back to the patrol car to look at the teen's hair, which had no color. Koehler told the child's mother after she had arrived on the scene that the teenagers did, in fact, match the description of two black men who had committed an armed robbery in the area, which was about 1.5 miles away. According to Justin Pulliam, who runs the YouTube Police Accountability Channel, The Corruption Report, and also lives in Fort Bend County. So the sheriff, all right, let's put him up. This is the sheriff of the county, Eric Fagan. He runs the department. Sheriff, obviously, your men do not know what simple law enforcement is, and they simply assumed two young black men, were suspects when they did not fit the description. Here's the other dynamic. Outside of the police report, the narrative being basically falsified in order to justify the interaction and the arrest, the cop tells the mother they matched the description. The mother came. Remember, the young man was yelling, somebody called my mother. The mother pulls up. Cop says they matched the description of individuals who committed armed robbery. Once again, providing a false narrative to the mother of the child. So if you believe that the interaction was in good faith and this was simply a mistake, why would he then, or they, cover up, create a false message, engage in deception to cover their tracks? It's just a mistake. They knew at that time that the young man did not match the description, but said so anyway to the mother. Now, here we are, Jackson. A lot of twists and turns, but the reality is these young men, they have been taught very well by their family to know their rights, not engage, walk away. That's not a lawful order, yet they still get arrested, detained, and treated this way. What's that?
Yeah, I think they definitely handled themselves very well throughout this situation because, you know, they were being filmed. So this officer ultimately doesn't have any type of real recourse to say that they were being rude or disrespectful or that they were cursing at him. So, you know, they really handled themselves solidly throughout this whole process. And, you know, just as you led on earlier, it can't be true that whatever an officer tells you to do, you have to do it. Because if that was the case, then we just wouldn't have any rights at all.
Right.
We wouldn't have any type of civil rights whatsoever because there's so many different kinds of officers in addition to, you know, patrol officers. There's government agents of various sorts. So that can't be true, and it's not. And he knows that it isn't. It just seemed like easy pickings to him because they were two young black kids, you know, walking around, minding their own business. And he didn't give them a reason. He just said, "You got to come over here because I said so." It's not like he was like, "Oh, there was a shooting around the corner. You tell me something about that," or "There was a robbery," or "There was a car accident. Did you see it?" He was just like, come here, because I told you to come here. So, no, definitely, I tip my hat to these two young brothers because it's clear as day that this officer was just abusing his power. So, if there is some type of lawsuit that comes from this, then I think that they're making a good example.
Yeah, I concur. And hopefully there will be an update as to litigation pending.